when I looked over my shoulder, we were about 8 stores old. We had a debt of $500,000, and I didn't know, because I was running around doing opening stores and training people, and I didn't know. So I suppose that was a little bit scary, but I mean, I knew I had the assets, and I knew I had to sell the shops and do those things that I had to do to make it work. So that was one time. It was so scary, mate. Oh, I tell you, there was an aeroplane flight coming back from Tamworth. No, truly, that was scary. That was really scary, and there was an aeroplane flight down to Sydney where the plane actually landed, the big plane, hit the runway and took off again. But yeah, no, travel can get here, especially after a heavy night. That's true, it is true. Look, I don't look over my shoulder either, honestly. I can tell the story now. About probably 5 years ago, it was only about 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we were offered $20 million to buy the business. And at the time, my partners and I decided to take the deal. Then, the day after signing the contracts and going through all the due diligence and all that, this company was going to within a month, this company was going to go public, and they needed Lenards to be the threshold, and they had about 3 or 4 franchise companies underneath it. And we said, okay, that's no problems. We'll exit, that sounds good, you know. And then we were attacked by a rogue external group of people called Franchisees Association, which was run by a group of ex-government, some blasé group of people who knew nothing about franchising, but just wanted to get their position in the marketplace. And we were attacked. And we actually went in the day after I signed the $20 million deal and actually rescinded that deal, because I didn't believe that these people could take this business to the public market and get shareholders to come in when I had these problems in front of us, which we didn't know about until then. They'd come out of the woodwork. And it took me nearly 2 years to clean that problem up. I suppose to a degree it wasn't scary as much as it was sort of a letdown, because you actually built yourself up to walk away with $10 million, $12 million or something, and then find that the day after you'd celebrated and drank big red wines, and the next day you would come in and say, you're not going to do it. That's probably the biggest letdown. But today, I can honestly say it's probably better for me if I didn't, because I think potentially Lenards is going to be worth a lot more in the next couple of years.
Then who's been your greatest influence?
I used to think about one chap a lot. When I was younger, I used to follow a football team out of Melbourne called St Kilda, and I used to try to think of his name. It's just a thing about him a lot. Brain dead. No, Lindsay Fox. Yeah, Lindsay Fox, to me, he used to play for St Kilda when I was a little kid, you know, going to football with Mum and Dad. And I used to look up at him because he was such a tough, rugged footballer, but then he went out and bought a truck. And he actually drove that truck until it died. I think he's still probably got it. But there's an entrepreneur in his own right. I think, I don't know if an entrepreneur as much as hard worker. He didn't actually take a truck and design it and made it better. He actually took the truck and made a business out of it. And there's a difference. I think there's a difference between that, but entrepreneurial, from a business point of view, very, very much so. The most respected entrepreneur I have in my mind, who lived until he was nearly 100 and only died just recently, was R.M. Williams. I think R.M. Williams would have to be the ultimate of how many people wear them. I haven't got mine on tonight because they were hurting. But truly, who would take a boot and sit around a campfire and design a boot with one piece of leather? I mean, nowhere else in the world had anybody done it. And he used one piece of leather and a piece of rubber to make a boot work. And it's probably one of the most comfortable boots you could ever wear. And it's a shame that he actually, I don't know if anybody knows this, but he actually died and he couldn't actually use his own name. He sold his brand name and everything. So, you know, lessons you learn. But yeah, a great entrepreneur, fabulous, great story, and I think everybody should read it. Anybody else? Any questions?
Yeah, you mentioned that when you went to America, the current Australian business model doesn't work. The first thing I thought of was Europe. Have you looked at Europe and tried to see if your Australian business model would work out?
Yeah, I have a very clear understanding about where the marketplace is in London especially. Look, Lenard's product is very much a westernised product, even though we can tinker with the Asian market because of the expat market there. There's a very strong expat market. We can actually pick and choose. We might end up with 100 stores or something like that using those surrounding areas. But London and those places, still again, I think the supermarket chain is the only way. There's another reason for us, not just because the supermarkets stand alone. If you take a Lenard's model and try to put one shop in one town and start it, you'd have to have a lot of money to make sure you got to 20, because you've got a supply chain that has to be servicing it. So, you know, you can imagine trying to say that we're going to London and we're going to have open up one shop and the whole system has to be there. I mean, it's so difficult to put that system into place. So the only way to make that work for us is to unite ourselves with the supermarket chain and hopefully get multiples up and running within the first 6 months to 12 months, aiming for something like 20 or 30 stores in that first period. So the supply chain works, the branding works, and it all goes side by side. If you go and open up one store in any country, you're still like you were the first shop you opened in Australia. It'd be very lonely. Any other questions? Nothing about business?
Yep, I've got one quick one. You said that your entrepreneurial journey started at the age of 36 or 37, was it?
Yeah.
A butcher by trade before then. Were there any other business ventures before Lenards?
No, not at all. I travelled a fair bit when I was younger. I had a great opportunity to learn and develop myself in skills. But probably a European trip that I went on for 3 years, that was probably my opening of myself to say there was something bigger outside than just retail butchery. And I had five shops of my own at different times through my earlier life, and fairly successful in most of them. In fact, sometimes I wonder I'd probably be more successful